Hey everybody, this is Tom with Board Gamer. Today we're going to do a brief overview and review for this game. For the full how to play, click the banner above or the link in the description. Now let's get into it. Amoebunnies is a 2 to 6 player asymmetric game for ages 10 and up, with an average gameplay length of 30 to 60 minutes, published by Wrong Cauldron. First, I want to say thank you to the people over at Wrong Cauldron who sent me this prototype copy of Amoebunnies. I first came across Amoebunnies at BGG Spring in Dallas, and to be honest, I walked past it at first since its colorful look reminded me of a kid's game. But I went back to the Wrong Cauldron booth just out of curiosity, and I am thankful I did. This colorful game of little amoeba creatures that are just trying to complete their own personal task was very much not a kid's game. This isometric game has a good amount of critical thinking, and each character has a complexity level, so you can decide how much thinking you actually want to do. Don't get me wrong, kids can play this game. It's not all strategy, but it has enough strategy for the people like me that enjoy that part of games. But let's put a microscope to this prototype version of Amoebunnies and see what it's all about. I want to start by saying this is a prototype, so some of what you see may not be the same once the game is fully complete. With that aside, I want to say I hope the game does not change too much. To start, I love the main board, and let me tell you why. The colors are bright and vibrant, but that's not what I love. What I love is that each color corresponds to an icon that is consistent on the location, the path, the location cards, and other color cards. I'm not colorblind, but I love when a game includes at least some accessibility and follows through by putting it in the entire game. Now for the components. Each character has something a little different, be it wooden tokens, cardboard cutouts, or little plastic cubes. The wooden components are great. The different shapes used make all of them easily identifiable, and the colors on all the components help you know which character they are for. The cardboard is fine and works well for the tokens they are used for. My only gripe is with the jelly tokens. These are hard plastic. I hope in the final production they switch to something a bit squishier, but that may be just personal preference. The other components, like the character boards and character sheets, I think are very well done. They have short and to the point instructions, and when you open them up, you can see a very detailed explanation with examples. But honestly, the characters are not overly complicated, so you may never need to fully open the character sheet. To recap, I love the iconography. I love the fact that it has some accessibility, and I'm just hoping for squishy jellies. When discussing ease of play for Amoebunnies, you have to know that this is an isometric game. Each of the characters have their own abilities and different complexities to achieve their end game goals. The upside to this is you can choose your character based on their complexity. You have characters like Cam with low complexity. Cam has 2 special abilities, and for the most part, they are pretty passive. They have Block, which makes another player give them a card if they want to move through a spot where Cam is stacked 4 or higher. And Splash, that lets Cam place a splash token on the board and have Cam draw a color card whenever another player crosses one of their splash tokens. Another character with higher complexity is Senil. In my opinion, I think the reason Senil is considered more complex is their special abilities revolve around movement. They have a movement die, which they can roll twice a turn. The path rolled is the only path they can travel, but they have the ability that lets them place a string when traveling across a path. You can move across a path where you previously laid a string, but there are clearly more restrictions on movement than the Cam character. Can anyone play any character? Yes, but given the levels of complexity, makes some characters easier to play than others, which is good because no matter the skill level of the player, everyone is essentially on the same level in the game from start to finish, allowing for even those who are not into board games excited to play a game. Looking at Amoebunnies, the first thoughts are colorful luck-based kids game. Now Amoebunnies is colorful, and kids can play it, but this is anything but a luck game. This is an isometric strategy game that can do more for adults than kids. I believe the strategy for Amoebunny starts even before the game begins with the character selection. The different complexities of each character let you decide how much you want to lean into strategy. But thankfully, each character is pretty balanced, so even if someone chooses a less complex character, there is no real advantage or disadvantage. The only time luck comes up, and is the most apparent, is when flipping tokens and getting just what you need instead of a bonus. A good example of this is when Roy flips a flower token to see it is a butterfly, and Roy is already on the space you need to turn it in at. So luck in this game is very situational or coincidental, but never a driving force, which I really appreciate. I like my luck sprinkled in. That way it feels more meaningful and like a happy coincidence than something another player needs to try and work and plan around. In short, this is a colorful strategy game with a dash of lucky happenstance. Amoebunnies is an isometric game, so it will play different with each character. So at minimum, if you want to play each character, you have at least 6 playthroughs. Now, if you want to play different characters against one another, depending upon the number of players you play with, again, that will increase the replayability of Amoebunnies. The different complexities help you play with different skill levels of players, from absolute beginner to your strategy veteran. Basically, there's always a reason to replay Amoebunnies. It's just a matter if the game is right for you. If you like a game that changes based on the character you choose, then this is a game for you. So there is a whole story about this game. The Amoebunnies are little amoeba creatures that drift in the clouds until they find a place to land. They are affected by different light frequencies which give them both their color and personalities, which basically is asking for expansions and new characters in my opinion. Each Amoebunny also has their very own story, like Cam, who falls apart easily, which is why his win condition is putting himself back together. Or Sari, who is always eager to help out, which is why she needs to place out all of her gifts as her win condition. This is a nice theme that shows in its gameplay, and that is honestly good to see. Now I will admit, I did judge this game at first glance, and I'm glad I went back to see I was wrong. So if you're looking at this game, don't assume this is a cutesy kids game like I did. This is a cutesy strategy game with multiple ways to play based on the character you choose. It's also colorblind accessible, which is always nice to see. Bottom line, I enjoy the game, and if you like isometric games or are interested in isometric games, this is a good jumping off point. This board gamer says, Amoebunnies is a colorful world I enjoy visiting again and again. Not boring. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about new videos. If you're bored now, click this for more games.